Welcome, everyone. This is the Tonya Hofmann's Fabulous TV Show. I am Tonya Hofmann. This is my fabulous TV show because I always have incredibly fabulous guests, like our guest star today, Shawn McBride. Hey, Shawn, how are you?
Hey, great to be here. Always enjoy this. So looking forward to it.
Yay. Well, I am so excited for y'all to meet Shawn. Now, some of you are like, I think he's been on your show before. And that's because I always have the best of the best come back. So y'all are going to be delighted to get to know Shawn a little bit more today and find out about his new book. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to find out all about it. So I want to first talk to you about, have you even gone to the website yet? So go to Public Speakers with an S, Association, all spelled out.com to find out how you too could be on my show and on the virtual summits that are coming up and all the other things that we have going on to help you get your name out there, your message heard so that you can actually change lives. So Shawn, tell me about your book and how fabulous it is.
Well, we're quite proud of this. I do love this book. So it's called Business Blunders, and it's about dangerous mistakes we've seen business owners make. So this is kind of years of my experience, and unfortunately, a lot of clients that contacted me a little too late, years of their experience. We've compiled it. We've compiled a list of what we've seen a lot of business owners make mistakes in, and given people basically a checklist. It's a checklist book, tells you what to look for, very quick and easy read, and then goes into a little detail about what you can do about these mistakes. So it's really a great way to double check your business, legal proof it, make sure that you don't have some of these problems.
Because you're a lawyer, so these are
Yes.
mistakes that people are coming through and going, oh my gosh, can you help,
Yes.
right?
Yep. I'm a lawyer and CPA, so I spend a lot of my time practicing law, working with real live clients on their issues and things coming up in their business. I'm also a CPA, and I will give people business advice. So people come to me and they have problems, and we fix them. So on the legal side, unfortunately, a lot of clients came a little too late. So years of learning from that practice, what mistakes people made, and we said, let's just catalog some of the most common mistakes we see. And these are things you may not be thinking about every day. And let's catalog them, and let's try to get the word out there so people can pick up a quick, easy book, check through it, and fix some problems before they have big problems.
Love it, love it. So can you give us kind of a hint of like one of the tips that's in there?
Yeah, one of the blunders I talk to a lot of people about is, people say form a company, be an LLC, be a corporation. Everybody runs out and they file with the state and they say, great, I'm an LLC and I'm a corporation, I'm good to go. But unfortunately, there's court cases out there that go the other direction. And they look at LLCs and corporations. If you're not doing it properly, you're not keeping your accounting correctly, you're not doing a lot of things behind the scenes correctly, they'll come back and take that limited liability protection away from the owners. So you end up with a surprise, and the person says, well, my business had a problem, but I formed an LLC to make sure I was protected. I wouldn't have to deal with that. But then the court case comes down, and that owner, they attack their personal assets. So we want to get people to avoid that problem before it happens. That's just one of the tips we give people is make sure you have that liability protection. Make sure you're going to avoid a problem before it becomes a problem.
Yes, I know, because, I think once you've kind of gone through business for so long, because I see, people, they make basic mistakes when they start becoming a speaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times they look at the way their grandfather did their business,
Sure.
or their dad, or whoever, or their best friend, and they're taking all this advice from people, and it's not really solid, up-to-date information, right?
It may not be up to date, and it may not be correct for your particular situation. What your dad did to run his manufacturing business may not be what you want to do to run your speaker business. Even speaker businesses, as we know, they are very unique. There's different models of how you build your speaker business. If you're building your business speaker to be one way, you might have one business model. You might be a corporation, and if you want to set your speaker business up, you have a different vision, different goals, different ways of working with your customers. You might be an LLC, or you might be an LLC taxed as an S corporation. A lot of different options there.
Yeah.
You really got to look at what makes sense for your situation. So definitely don't recommend you copy and paste. You want to make sure you build something that really, really works for you and what you're doing.
Well, and I think that's the point, right? Is that there's so many people that they want everything easy, right? They just want to fill in the blank and be done with it. And there's some things that can really come back and bite you, you know? So I always suggest when people are starting to get into things, go find someone who can give you real information, you know, a
Yeah.
CPA, a lawyer, people like yourself that are really honest and really have, you know, good insight and good heart to help them.
Right. And here's the problem. Unfortunately, if something goes wrong in your business, somebody's going to have a loss. You know, whether it be somebody that tripped and fell while you were in an event, maybe you tripped while you were speaking and you bumped into somebody and they got hurt. Or maybe somebody came to your office, you said the wrong thing. Just a lot of different things can happen in the life of a business. And then the courts, they've got a very tough situation. They've got you with your entity, which you formed. You're supposed to have limited liability protection, protect your personal assets. But we got somebody with losses. And a lot of times if the insurance isn't there, the court essentially has to decide who gets money and who doesn't. Do you lose your personal assets, or does this person that got injured get what they need to make them whole? And the court debates it. And the problem is, you want to make sure you come up on the right side of the equation. You really want to make sure you get those personal assets protected because you don't want a surprise, which usually means you got to be careful about how you're doing things from the beginning, setting up that paperwork, getting it correct, doing it the right way, making sure you do things correct in the middle. You're running your business like a business. You're interfacing with people the right way. You got the right contracts, agreements, all the way through up to when you might one of these events might happen. You might end up in some litigation. You want to run things correctly, so that you know it's more likely the court's going to side with you and protect your personal assets and protect and recognize your business rather than pick them. And you've really got to build a good case to make sure that you look like you've done it right and you've been a proper business.
Yes. And, you know, people always, oh, Tonya, you know, can you come to this country and start a group here? And I'm always like, I can, but that's a lot of legal information that I've got to go through because I like to do all the legal stuff up front.
Yeah, and you know, different countries, even different states within the U.S., everybody's got different rules and regulations. You want to be familiar with them and understand what you're doing. You know, one thing I've seen a lot with speaker businesses is franchising concerns. You get to a certain size, let's say you want to use other speakers, and you start building a little bigger. I think very careful about the regulations about, you know, if you're involving others, you know, do you have a franchise? And if you become a franchise, there's a lot of paperwork entitled with that and a lot of stuff you have to look out for. So really want to be doing your homework because unfortunately the government, if they get a hold of these things, they're going to come full force, you know, and they're going to want to get fines and penalties and change things and maybe stop your operations. And that's not what you want as a business owner, because how are you going to go home and explain to your friends and your family that, you know, your business has got this major problem? And, you know, of course, then you probably have trouble, you know, making payroll and everything else, which, you know, who wants to go there?
Well, and you know, a lot of people, this is the kind of rhetoric that keeps, I think, a lot of people from jumping into business. And I'm always like, just do the stuff up front. It just makes it so much easier, and it lifts that, you know, oh my gosh, what if scenarios out of the equation.
Exactly it. Just get ahead of this stuff. And that's why I wrote the book, is I want, you know, this is planning. This is planning for your business. Make sure you got it right. Make sure you're working through it. It's just things you can do. It's not anything to be scared of. And if you really want to be in business, this is something to be passionate about. But business is not a hobby. It's a job. It's something that comes with responsibility. There are legal responsibilities associated with it. But if you come at it full force and you handle it responsibly, there's no reason why you should say, oh, I'm not going in business because of all that. If this is what you want to do and you're passionate about it, follow your dream. You can make it happen. Just check the boxes, make sure you're doing it correctly.
Yes, love it, love it, love it. So when you were writing the book, did you, how long did it take you to write the book?
This book is a relatively short book. It probably took about 6 months to write, and then we went through the editing process and publishing and all that, so it took a little while after that. But about 6 months of deliberate effort to get through it.
Right. I know, because my first book, you know, it took 2 years. People are like, it took 2 years to write A Client a Day the coffee shop way. And I'm like, yeah, I was not focused. I didn't know what I was doing until, again, I found the professional. I found a guy that was a publisher, and he helped me. Okay, let's look. What are you doing? You know, let's get an outline. I'm like, an outline? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And this is what I learned, you know. It always surprises me that I don't just start from the beginning, with the expert to hold my hand, right? That's really what you're saying. It's just find
Yeah,
someone who can hold your hand from the beginning.
I think that's been one of my biggest lessons of being in business. I've been a lawyer for a while now. I spent about 10 years working for large law firms, and I was in corporate America before that. And then I started my own law firm about 4 years ago. And the first couple of years, I really did a lot on my own. Really, tried to get everything going and, set everything up. And I figured out the accounting and I figured out how to work with it. And then at some point, it started to occur to me that if I hired an expert that knew what they were doing, rather than something, taking me 2 years to figure out, we could be done in 2 weeks. And we could be at a higher level much faster. So at some point, it starts becoming a business decision.
Yeah.
Do I really want to invest 2 years of my time in working through something, or do I just want to get it done and get it to market and move on to the next project?
I know. I think that's the hardest thing when people, I was just meeting with a guy yesterday and he's like, I really need to make money. I need to figure this all out. And I'm like, great, just hire me and we'll get it all figured out so you can start making money like next week.
Right.
And he's like, I have to spend money, but I told you I need to make money. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
It's like, I've got millions of dollars of information in my head, right? Of how, what doesn't work, what does work. I says, that's what you're doing is you're passing over all that time and effort and money that you're about to spend either way.
That's right. Well, you and me and a lot of people out here have spent a lot of time building knowledge base. I mean, I've worked under a lot of smart lawyers growing up in my career. I've worked with clients in terrible situations, and you start learning from that, and you read these cases, and it takes you years to accumulate this. You writing the book, understanding the speaking industry, this is years and years of knowledge, and there's probably nothing legally that I know that you can't figure out. It might take you 5 or 6 years. I mean, Tonya, there's probably stuff speaking wise that if you stumble around long enough, people can probably figure out what you're going to tell them next week. But it might take 3 years. And, is it worth wasting 3 years and whatever money you would make in the middle, right? Because if you know now where to go market yourself as a speaker and what's realistic and where you're going, and you start executing that next week, that revenue stream might start, a week, 2 weeks from now.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could keep searching, and maybe 3 years from now you stumble upon it. That's 3 years of lost revenue.
Oh yeah, and that was the hardest thing for me to get over is the thought of, because my dad was such a penny pincher, every dollar had a name, every penny had a name. And so it was so hard for me to give money, away, to spend money in order to make money. And I see that a lot in people. I kind of see a reflection of myself, wanting to hold on to it because it's so scary. You're like, but that money might not come back. I'm like, that's true.
It might not, but normally it will. And it's kind of one of these things where I know in my business life, I've had good investments and bad investments, and sometimes you can't tell in advance. But if you make enough smart investments that have a high return, you're going to do well in the long term, and you've really got to invest in this. Too many of my clients that just can't get to the next level, that are frustrated, are held back because they won't let the brakes off. If you want to drive the car, at some point you have to take your foot off the brake. And that's really what this is about. There's a lot of people that are trying to run a business, but they're trying to keep their foot on the brake so they don't go too fast. If you take the foot off the brake and push the gas pedal, you're going to start moving down the road. You're going to have to steer a little bit. You're going to have to drive, but you're going somewhere.
Yeah.
If you keep that foot planted on that brake because you can't spend money, you're never going to move forward.
I know. I was talking to a lady last week, and I said, oh my gosh, you can come on the virtual summit, and I'll push your information out to 45,000 people, and you can lead gen and offer a coaching session. She goes like, I can't give 45,000 coaching sessions. I'm like, oh no, yeah, we've got to have a discussion about reality.
Yeah, exactly.
It was fun, but so when you look at your book and everything, and people are like, oh my gosh, I have got to have this book, how do they get a hold of it?
It's available on Amazon.com. So if you go there and just search Business Blunders, you should see it's the one blue cover, just like this. You'll see that picture pop up on the side. Also, if you go to McBrideBook.com, we have a website which has a picture of the book and tells you some background information about the book and what you'll learn in there, and that will lead you back over there as well to get a copy.
Awesome. Well, y'all heard it. You've just got to go and grab the book because I mean, this could really make you go, I didn't even think about that. And these are things that are very important for you to, really work through in your business. So, I mean, it's a book, start there and then just obviously go hire Shawn.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's $14.95, quick read. Just tells you what you're going to find. You're likely going to find something in here that you can improve, and that's going to pay this back more than so. Talk about return on investment. It's one of these things where a little bit of money, but you're going to learn something, and that's going to change your business. So.
Right. All right, everybody. So go over there, go to Amazon, Business Blunders, and you'll be able to find it, or go to McBride. What was it? McBride what?
McBride book.
McBride book. And I was talking with Shawn because my grandmother's maiden name was McBride. So we're kin cousins, right?
There you go.
My hair used to be dark too, but we won't talk about that. All righty, everybody. We're so excited. Please get in touch with Shawn. Get to know him. Follow him on social media. Get connected with me. What? You haven't connected with me yet? What are you waiting for? It's all about having fun and really making a movement in our business and in our lives so we can actually go out and change lives. Shawn's changing lives every day. I'm changing lives every day. We have fun doing just that. And why don't you do too? So come back and see us next time on the Tonya Hofmann's Fabulous TV Show. Don't forget to go to Public Speakers Association. Go to McBrideBooks.com so that you can grab that book, or to go to Amazon. So thank you. Thanks, Shawn, for being on.
Thank you. Thank you. Always fun.
Yay. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.